After the break, you're watching DD India News Hour, and I'm Preeti. In more international updates, UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak has won a key vote on the legislation designed to send some asylum seekers to Rwanda. The opposition Labour Party, however, says that it's a gimmick and the legislation still faces parliamentary hurdles. DD India's Ollie Barrett reports from London.
There's no doubt that this is a victory for Rishi Sunak, the UK Prime Minister. The overall vote on his Rwanda legislation passing through the House of Commons at this stage. But the last 48 hours have seen significant rebellions from some of his own Conservative MPs who wanted that legislation to be, in their view, tougher to try and make sure that the Rwanda scheme can get up and running. It's not a battle that is over yet either. The legislation now goes towards the UK's upper chamber, the House of Lords. We could well see there attempts to amend the legislation from its current form, and so there could well be further parliamentary battles to come before the legislation is completely on the statute books. And that's important for UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak because he wants to see flights to Rwanda, deporting some asylum seekers, up and running in the early part of 2024, and the parliamentary schedule may not allow that. We've also been hearing from the opposition Labour Party who say that this scheme won't work. They say it's a gimmick. They've been pointing to what they say is chaos in the Conservative Party in recent days. The idea of the scheme is that some asylum seekers will be sent to Rwanda to see their claims processed there. The idea is that overall you act as a deterrent and stop some people trying to make often dangerous journeys to the UK in the first place. The government believes it will help bring overall illegal immigration numbers down. As I say, opposition parties dispute that, and the parliamentary battle is not over yet. Ollie Barrett in London, reporting for DD India.
Up next, we get to updates on Russia-Ukraine war. In a nightly video address, President Volodymyr Zelensky urged Ukrainians to seize the initiative to help determine the course of the war and secure worldwide support.
There was a strategic level of discussions of our actions for this year, and not only of defensive ones. Ukraine needs an ambitious and proactive perspective so that the initiative lies within our state, not with the enemy, so that the end of the war will depend on Ukrainian actions. The world supports those who have a perspective, and this is a fundamental task to preserve the initiative so that there is an opportunity to become stronger.
The White House National Security spokesperson John Kirby emphasized on the critical and urgent need for continued security assistance flow to Ukraine on Wednesday. Kirby outlined the pressing need for some weapons systems.
This will be an opportunity for the President and for the National Security Team to make sure that members of Congress fully understand the desperate, urgent need for weapons and capabilities for Ukraine to continue to flow. As you know, the last security assistance package was December 27th. There hasn't been one since. There won't be one unless or until we can get some funding. They are expending what they have. And I won't get into their inventory lists, but there are some weapon systems for which they are in more need than others right now, and they have to expend them given ongoing combat.
Republican U.S. House of Representatives Speaker Mike Johnson said meeting with President Joe Biden and Democrats in the Senate over Ukraine aid and immigration policy was productive on Wednesday.
We had a productive meeting, I think, House and Senate leaders. The President was very forthright. I told the President what I have been saying for many months, and that is that we must have change at the border, substantive policy change. We're not insistent upon a particular name of a piece of legislation, but we are insistent that the elements have to be meaningful. The House is ready to act.
French President Emmanuel Macron said that Russia cannot be allowed to win the war in Ukraine in Davos on Wednesday. Macron added that Europeans must renew their efforts this year to help Kyiv, regardless of the outcome of the U.S. presidential election.
Premièrement, nous allons tout faire pour essayer de tenir le monde ensemble.
We are going to do everything to try to hold the world together and not give in to the risk of division, and try to have an effective agenda that will ensure that Russia cannot and must not win in Ukraine. Because what is at stake in Ukraine is our values, our collective security in Europe, in the Caucasus and in the entire region. Therefore, to do this, 2024 will be a key year for Europeans. We must show that we know how to provide visibility and recommit our efforts, whatever happens in the United States.
A person was killed in the Russian missile attack on a residential district of Ukraine's Kharkiv on Wednesday. The regional governor and the military said the attack killed a woman employee of a heating and power plant and damaged an educational building. 2 Russian S-300 missiles struck Kharkiv, injuring 17 people on Wednesday. China and the Philippines agreed to improve maritime communication and to properly manage conflicts and differences through friendly talks with regard to the issues around the South China Sea. According to a statement from the Chinese Foreign Ministry, China's Assistant Foreign Minister Nong Rong and Philippines Foreign Ministry Under-Secretary Teresa Lazaro held an in-depth exchange of views on the situation, with co-chairing the 8th meeting of the China-Philippines Bilateral Consultation Mechanism on the South China Sea in Shanghai. The 2 countries have had numerous confrontations recently in certain disputed waters in the South China Sea, with both trading accusations of provoking conflict in the economically strategic waterway. Nuclear envoys from the US, South Korea met on Thursday to discuss North Korea amid mounting tensions on the Korean peninsula. US Deputy Special Representative for North Korea, Jang Park, and South Korea's Special Representative for Korean Peninsula Peace and Security Affairs, Kim Gun, participated in a meeting in Seoul. The 2 envoys are scheduled to hold a trilateral meeting with their Japanese counterpart, Hiroyuki Namanazu, over North Korea's recent activities, bilateral ties with Russia and military cooperation later in the day. The talks come a day after North Korean Foreign Minister Cho Sun-hui met with Russian President Vladimir Putin in Moscow amid growing concerns over their deepening relationship. The US and its allies have accused the North of providing arms support to Moscow for use in its war in Ukraine in return for Russia's assistance in Pyongyang's advanced weapons development. Ecuadorian prosecutor Cesar Suarez, investigating TV studio attack, has been assassinated in Guayaquil, Attorney General said on Wednesday. The television station attack and recent burst of violence in Ecuador led President Daniel Noboa to declare a 60-day state of emergency on Monday. Attorney General Diana Salazar said that the crime would not undermine the authorities' commitment to Ecuadorian society. Her office was conducting a preliminary investigation at the site of the killing, Salazar said, expressing her grief for Suarez's family.
In view of the murder of our colleague Cesar Suarez, prosecutor of the National Specialized Unit for Investigations Against Transnational Organized Crime in Gayos, I am going to be emphatic. Organized crime groups, criminals, terrorists will not stop our commitment to Ecuadorian society. We will continue with more strength and commitment.
Ecuadorian government on Wednesday condemned the murder of a prosecutor in the province of Gayos, one of the most violent areas of the country. Ecuadorian Defense Minister Giancarlo Lofredo expressed his condolences to the family of the prosecutor and stressed the government's commitment to support the justice system in solving the crime.
On behalf of national government, we would like to express our condolences to the prosecutor's family, Cesar Suarez. We reject all forms of violence in response to the conflict we are experiencing. We reaffirm the government's strong commitment to support the administration of justice. Ecuadorians are together and united in single force, a single Ecuador.
Republican presidential candidate Nikki Haley said that the United States should start looking at China as the enemy and threatened to end normal trade relations during a campaign on Wednesday in New Hampshire.
So when Biden comes and tells us China's a competitor, I dealt with China every single day at the United Nations. They never saw us as a competitor. They always saw us as an enemy. That's why we have to look at them the way they look at us. But how do we deal with China? Well, you start by stopping the sale of any Chinese land and taking back the land they already purchased.
Let's get you weather updates from across the globe now. Winter weather affecting the U.S. has brought travel bans to upstate New York and icy roads to the Pacific Northwest. The government has placed many travel bans in western New York while asking people to stay indoors unless necessary. Freezing temperatures in several regions triggered peak power demand in various areas after record consumption of natural gas for heating and power generation. The severe winter storm also prompted shutting of Gulf Coast refinery in Texas, triggering malfunctions and impacting North Dakota's oil production. Severe cold caused explosion of a pool pump in Allen in Texas as temperatures dropped to 10 degrees Fahrenheit, which was captured in a private CCTV camera earlier this week. The severe winter storm brought snow across vast areas of the U.S. this week. According to the National Weather Service, another Arctic cold front will arrive on Thursday, with overnight lows falling to the 10s and 20s each night through the weekend. In West Seneca in the New York state of U.S., residents were seen working hard to plow out the deep layer of snow after it blanketed the streets and houses in the aftermath of a massive snowstorm. Residents in Iceland's Grindavik are facing relocation woes following a second eruption in less than a month. The head of the Icelandic Meteorological Department told the town's residents on Wednesday that although the volcanic activity has subsided, magma continues to build up underground. Geologists thus advised local residents to move out as soon as possible. The small fishing town has about 3,300 residents. A quick look at other stories making it to the headlines from across the world. Britain's cyber spies marked the 80th anniversary of the world's first digital code-breaking computer, Colossus, on Thursday. Colossus was developed in the years 1943 to 45 to help the cryptanalysis to defeat Hitler's Germany and was so significant that it was kept a secret for decades. As Japan eyes to become the fifth country to put a spacecraft on the moon, Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency's Smart Lander for investigating moon, or also known as Moon Sniper, will attempt a precision landing on Friday. This spacecraft will give a boost to space program that has suffered a wave of setbacks and has been eclipsed by rival China. SLIM Pro will start a 20-minute touchdown phase from 1500 GMT on Friday. It will try to land on a target site roughly the size of two athletic tracks on the slope of a crater just south of the lunar equator. American hit film Mr. and Mrs. Smith that featured Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie nearly 2 decades ago returns to action in a new TV reboot. Co-created by actor and musician Donald Glover and writer Francesca Sloan. The 8-episode series is a reimagining of the iconic married couple of assassins.
Administer single dose, no casualties.
Up next, we're heading for a short break, but still to come on this edition of DD India News Hour. Holy city of Ayodhya witnesses an unprecedented surge in tourists ahead of the consecration ceremony on 22nd of January. Stay with us as we get to how people in Ayodhya are gearing up for this welcome change. Not just Ayodhya, but places as far as Mumbai are drenched in the spirit of welcoming Lord Ram. How? We'll tell you ahead. Chamoli district of North Indian state of Uttarakhand covered in white. The region witnesses the first snowfall of the season.
That never stops, where information shapes our reality. One app stands out, helps you stay ahead of time. Introducing the DD India app, your gateway to a world of news right at your fingertips. Your most trusted source of news goes global, goes digital. Explore a world of options, top stories, live updates, in-depth analysis, and more. Stay informed wherever you are. Real-time alerts keep you ahead of the curve always. The DD India app, connecting you to the world one story at a time. Download now and explore the world of knowledge, insights.
Welcome back after the break. You're watching DD India News Hour. Let's take a quick relook at the top stories once again. US lists Houthis as terrorists. Yemen's Houthis hit another US operated ship. US shipping operator Genco confirms attack on Genco Picardy bulk carrier. Victory for British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak. UK Parliament's lower house approves controversial Rwanda asylum legislation. Indian economy expected to grow at 7.3% in current fiscal, says RBI Governor at World Economic Forum in Davos. And India prevails over Afghanistan in a double super over thriller clinches series 3-day. India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar will lead the Indian delegation at the 19th Summit of the Non-Aligned Movement to be held in Kampala, Uganda on 19th and 20th January. The summit will be preceded by deliberations at the ministerial and senior official levels. The 19th NAM Summit under the leadership of Uganda is being held under the theme Deepening Cooperation for Shared Global Affluence and brings together more than 120 developing countries on a platform of crucial historical significance. Now, on the sidelines of the NAM summit, the minister is expected to meet with Ugandan leadership and counterparts from NAM member states. The minister will travel to Nigeria on an official visit from January 21st to 23. The minister will co-chair the 16th India-Nigeria Joint Commission meeting with his counterpart and also meet with other leaders. India and Nigeria have traditionally enjoyed close and friendly relations. Dr. S. Jaishankar will be making his first visit to Nigeria. This will be his first visit, in fact, which will further consolidate bilateral relations between the two countries. In a first-of-its-kind meeting, 54 unicorns of India met with India's Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal on Wednesday. The discussion focused on the growth trajectory of the Indian startup ecosystem, the role of domestic capital in nurturing and scaling startups, and India's position in the international startup landscape. They plan to set up the Unicorn Club of India, which can jointly raise issues with the government and on other platforms to improve the startup ecosystem in the country. Up next, we get to all the buzz being generated in the build-up to the consecration ceremony of Ram Temple at India's holy city of Ayodhya on 22nd January. Ahead of the consecration of the Ram Temple in the North Indian city of Ayodhya, the procession of the idol of Lord Ram has completed as the recitation of scholar Valmiki's Anand Ramayana has begun. The resolution will take place on Thursday afternoon. Many other rituals and ceremonies are lined up for today in the temple city of Ayodhya. The idol of Lord Ram has been brought inside the sanctum sanctorum of the Ram Temple in Uttar Pradesh's Ayodhya, where the grand consecration ceremony will take place next week. A special prayer was held in the sanctum sanctorum before the idol was brought inside with the help of a crane. All right, our correspondent Siddharth Bharadwaj is joining us from Ayodhya. Siddharth, good morning. We've just given a sense of the preparations to our viewers. And yes, the entire Ayodhya city is adorned with the chants of Jai Shri Ram. But let us hear more from you on the preparations. Let's talk about security preparations first.
Yeah, definitely. Preeti, a very good morning to you from the temple town. And as the big day approaches the consecration ceremony on January 22nd, the security measures here in Ayodhya are robust and comprehensive. There's an additional deployment of security personnel to ensure that everything goes smooth. There have been advanced monitoring systems that have been put in place, to ensure to manage and monitor the crowd movement. Also, there have been checkpoints that have been put up here, and vehicles with proper pass are allowed to enter. Otherwise, there are no vehicular movement. There are no vehicles that are allowed here inside on the streets of Ayodhya. So this is the level of security which is there in, in Ayodhya, and also the authorities are leaving no stone unturned here, Preeti, to ensure that the sacred event unfolds safely, security and smoothly. One thing more which I would like to tell you, Preeti, that AI, artificial intelligence, is playing a pivotal role when it comes to security here in Ayodhya. First of all, let me just tell you, this technology has been incorporated in the already installed CCTV cameras here in the region, and it has several features. It has reverse facial recognition. It has, the criminal database. It also can detect fake number plates, Preeti. So you can imagine that just in case if a vehicle on the streets of Ayodhya is roaming with a fake number plate, this technology can detect that number plate, further ensuring more security in the region. So you can imagine the amount of security here in Ayodhya ahead of the big day, the consecration ceremony, the Pran Pratishtha, for which everyone is waiting for on January 22nd.
Yes, everybody is waiting for the grand event on January 22nd. Siddharth, let us also get a sense of the mood, because I see a lot of people there behind you, and I'm sure everybody is excited and enthusiasm is there in Ayodhya. But let us understand more from you, because we showed a detailed report by you to our viewers about how the economy will see an improvement and how there's a jump in the tourist footfall. Let us hear more from you as to what all do you see around you, in general, the mood.
Well, Preeti, the mood here in Ayodhya is quite vibrant. People are just jumping in joy. They are just, enjoying the tradition here. They're enjoying cuisines here in Ayodhya. Everything is just, everything seems vibrant. The entire city is adorned with vibrant colors. People are enjoying the tradition offered by the city. And, as there is an influx of tourism more and more here in Ayodhya, the business is also booming in the city. And as the big day approaches, people are just waiting for the consecration ceremony, like I said, on January 22nd, Preeti. And also, not just that, people are also enjoying rituals there, which have been unfolded 2 days back. Today is the third day, and they will go up to 21st of January and 22nd of January, as we all know, is Pran Pratishtha, for which everyone is waiting for, not just in Ayodhya, not just in Uttar Pradesh, not just in India, but in the entire world, Preeti. I would also want to say one thing, Preeti, that whatever infrastructure development is happening here in Ayodhya, everything included, it sends a strong message to the world that how capable India is, and how much potential this country has, and how this country is developing as a whole. It sends out a strong message to the world, like the way things are happening. And, the things which I see around me is certainly, sends a strong message that this city is certainly going to be a spiritual capital of India very soon.
All right, Siddharth, we'll leave it here. Thank you for joining in with those details. And the mega event in Ayodhya has created buzz all over. The temple city is all set to be decked up with lights, flowers and lamps. Flowers from the Indian city of Hapur are also going to be sent to Ayodhya to adorn the temple decorations. An order to send 10 tons of flowers to Ayodhya has been received by this flower farm. The first consignment of the flowers has been sent on Thursday. People across India are excited for the grand ceremony in Ayodhya. A couple from Mandapeta town in the southern Indian state of Andhra Pradesh have sent decorated coconuts for the consecration ceremony at Ayodhya on January 22nd. The couple was seen decorating the coconuts with beads and bright paintings before sending them to Ayodhya. An entrepreneur from the city of Bareilly in the North Indian state of Uttar Pradesh has prepared a special perfume dedicated to the Ram temple in Ayodhya. A special kesar dhoop or incense stick has also been made for the Ram Mandir consecration ceremony next week. A Deepotsav or a light festival and Rangoli program was organized at the Curfew Wali Mata temple in the central Indian state of Madhya Pradesh's Bhopal. People from all walks of life and age groups gathered to light oil lamps and decorate the Rangoli pattern, which depicted the grandeur of the upcoming consecration ceremony in Ayodhya. The spirit and excitement of Lord Ram's consecration ceremony has moved beyond borders. The Indian diaspora in USS Texas was seen dancing, waving flags and chanting Lord Ram's name as they expressed their joy over the consecration ceremony to be held in the temple city of Ayodhya. The 12th General Assembly of the Asian Buddhist Conference for Peace is taking place in India after 5 decades. Its theme is the Buddhist Voice of Global South. Indian Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar termed it significant because India is where Buddhism was born and spread to the world. Indian Cabinet Minister Kiran Rijiju, who was also the guest of honor, said that Prime Minister has always emphasized that Indians are proud to belong to a nation that has given the world Buddha and not Yudh, meaning war.
At the 12th ABCP General Assembly, under the timely theme, ABCP, the Buddhist Voice of Global South. Friends, this coincides with India's growing leadership role, amplifying the voices of Global South, as evidenced by its G20 presidency and the Voice of Global South Summit. India is committed to representing the concerns of nations with 3/4 of the world's population. The motto is soothing, as Bharat as a nation has been guided by the principles of Bhagwan Buddha.
World. Any nation which aspires to be a global leader must follow the teachings of Lord Buddha. Then only you can morally, spiritually, politically, culturally lead the world.
The Indian government's biggest outreach program, Viksit Bharat Sankalp Yatra, reached the South Indian state of Andhra Pradesh. The program reached Anantapuram district, Thurakapalli village. Short films of schemes implemented by the central government were shown to the public. Program calendars were also unveiled. The beneficiaries of the program interacted with officials and expressed happiness. Let's get you weather updates from across India now. Cold wave continues to grip several states of India. Dense to very dense fog was observed in few pockets of Punjab, Haryana, West Rajasthan and Bihar, while dense fog was seen in few pockets of national capital of Delhi and in West Uttar Pradesh, Jharkhand, Odisha and Assam. Meanwhile, visibility has improved over Delhi airport. It is likely to improve further during the next 2 hours. Up next, we take a look at other stories making it to the headlines from across India. Following a prolonged wait, Chamoli district of North Indian state of Uttarakhand witnessed the onset of snowfall on Wednesday. Significant snowfall was reported in key locations such as Badrinath Dham, Hemkund Sahib. Even Hanuman Chatti saw a blanket of snow. Ahead of Republic Day and consecration ceremony at the Ram Temple in Ayodhya, security has been beefed up in the North Indian state of Jammu and Kashmir. Security forces and the police have been put on alert across the Jammu region, including Indo-Pakistan border, to ensure the deployment of foolproof security in the region. Ahead of Ram Temple's consecration ceremony, Shivaji Park in Dadar area of Mumbai was decorated and lit up with replica of Ram Temple. A quick break ahead, but after the break, Apple will remove blood oxygen monitoring feature from some watch models after court's ruling. Also, we'll get you updates on the first Grand Slam of the year, Australian Open. India shuttler HS Pranoy has set up the second round clash against Priyanshu Rajawat at India Open Super 750 Series on Thursday.
India that invents. India that innovates. India that excites. India that invites. Land of possibility. Teeming with opportunities. Watch India Ideas each Thursday, 8 p.m. only on DD India.
Welcome back after the break. You're watching DD India News Hour. Let's get to updates from the world of business now. The US stock market's mood remained sluggish on Wednesday amid tepid economic data out of China and increased uncertainty about the prospect of US interest rate cuts. In fact, the US stocks followed their European counterparts to a lower close on Wednesday, and US Treasury yields resumed their uphill climb amid speculations that the Fed could begin reducing its policy rate as early as March. All the three major US indices finished the session lower, with interest rate-sensitive momentum stocks weighing heaviest on the tech-heavy Nasdaq. Equity futures fell following losses in Asian and European markets after the latest Chinese economic data indicated that the recovery in the world's second-largest economy remains wobbly. Now, while US stocks, futures and treasuries faced decline in the Asian markets, in fact, opened cautiously. Asian equities experienced mixed results with gains in Japan's Nikkei 225 and South Korea's Kospi. Chinese stocks, meanwhile, hit five-year low amidst weak economic data. China's Shanghai Shenzhen CSI 300 sank 0.8% and hit lowest level in about 5 years, while the Shanghai Composite slipped 1.3% to a near four-year low. India's benchmark indices, which registered a significant fall on Wednesday, opened in the red on Thursday as well, marking third straight day fall. Sensex was down 500 points after a 1,600-point decline on Wednesday. Nifty was below 21,500. All the sectors, including the tech stocks, opened in the red. Now, according to analysts, investors are cautious and watchful as global uncertainties unfold, impacting the markets worldwide. Meanwhile, oil prices edged higher on Thursday as OPEC forecast relatively strong growth in global oil demand over the next 2 years, and a cold blast in the US disrupted some oil production. Brent crude futures gained 28 cents to $78.16 a barrel, and US West Texas Intermediate crude futures rose 34 cents at $72.9. OPEC, in a monthly report, said that world oil demand will rise substantially by 1.85 million barrels per day in 2025 to 106.21 million barrels per day. For this year, OPEC estimates a demand growth of 2.25 million barrels per day, maintaining its December forecast. Now, China's economy continues to slow down amid a worsening property crisis and weak consumer demand, triggering caution in the global markets. The country's GDP grew 5.2% in the fourth quarter, but it failed to meet the 5.3 target. Analysts also blame mounting local government debts for China's sluggish post-COVID recovery. The country is expected to roll out more stimulus measures to boost the economy. As Apple's share slumped after US court ruling that banned the imports of two flagship Apple Watch models, the company said on Wednesday that it would remove the blood oxygen monitoring feature from the watch model in the US. The iPhone maker was in a legal battle with the medical technology company Masimo over patents on the technology behind the feature. Earlier, analysts also said that Apple should disable the disputed feature to comply with the ban and keep the watch on sale. Taiwan's Foxconn is going to partner with tech firm HCL Group for a semiconductor assembly and testing facility in India. The firms will set up an outsourced assembly and testing unit called OSAT in the South Asian nation. An OSAT plant packages, assembles and tests foundry-made silicon wafers, turning them into finished semiconductor chips. Foxconn said in a regulatory filing that its India unit will own a 40% stake in the joint venture with a $37.2 million investment. Foxconn is also looking to set up a semiconductor fabrication plant in India, where the government has offered $10 billion in incentives to start local chip manufacturing. All right, on to sports now. We talk of cricket first. India's skipper Rohit Sharma turned out to be a saviour thrice in the third T20 match against Afghanistan as the hosts completed the series whitewash. Indian skipper slammed 100 in regulation time and then played 2 cameos to help India fight past a fierce Afghanistan in a dramatic match that concluded over 2 super overs. Rohit, who scored 121 not out, and Rinku Singh, who remained unbeaten on 69, shared 190 runs for the 5th wicket. India came back from a shaky 22 for 4 to post a massive 212 for 4. Chasing 212, Afghanistan too ended with the same score, with Gulbadin Naib hammering a 23-ball 55 to lead his team's stunning comeback. India equalled Afghanistan's score of 16 in the first super over to stretch the match, but the visitors could not chase down a target of 12 in the second super over as the hosts picked the required 2 wickets through Ravi Bishnoi. India and Uzbekistan will face each other in their second Group B clash of the AFC Asian Cup 2023 on Thursday. The 2 teams clashed for the first time in 1987 Nehru Gold Cup, which finished in a 2-each draw. Since then, both teams have faced each other 6 times, with their last meeting coming in the 2001 Merdeka Cup. Uzbekistan has the advantage over India in head-to-head clashes. Out of the 6 matches, the Uzbeks have won 4, while 2 matches have ended in a draw. Australia beat India 2-0 in their Asian Cup Group B clash, while Uzbekistan was in poor form against a resolute Syria. The match ended in a 0-each draw. Indian shuttler HS Pranoy has set up a second-round clash against Priyanshu Rajawat at India Open Super 750 Series on Thursday. Asian Games bronze medalist HS Pranoy packed off Chinese Taipei's Cho Ten-Chen in straight games on the opening day of the tournament on Tuesday, while Rajawat came from a game down to upset Commonwealth Games gold medalist Lakshya Sen. Tamil Nadu Kabaddi teams are determined to give the state a medal-winning start in the 6th Khelo India Youth Games as one of India's most popular indigenous sports kicks off on Thursday. Tamil Nadu girls will launch their campaign against defending champions Haryana in Group A. They won the bronze medal in the last edition of the Games in Madhya Pradesh. Telangana and Maharashtra are the other teams in Group A. In the boys category, Tamil Nadu are clubbed with Haryana, Chandigarh and Delhi in Group B. Both the teams are being trained for the last 1 week. The girls' team is being coached by Dhyan Chand Award winner Kavita Selvaraj. The boys' team is aiming for their first podium finish in the youth category. In Australian Open, Russia's Elena Avinesen bagged a massive upset in the second round, knocking out world number 8 Maria Sakkari 6-4, 6-4. The 21-year-old, playing at the Melbourne Grand Slam for the first time, caused problems for Sakkari throughout the match as she mixed up her game nicely. She will next face Ukraine's Marta Kostyuk, who rallied from a set down to beat Belgian Elise Mertens 5-7, 6-1, 7-6. All right, that's it in this edition of DD India News Hour. But let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. You can connect with us on Facebook, X and also Instagram. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Preeti Kaur signing off, and from all of us here in Delhi, thanks for watching DD India News Hour.